because I'm like crazy into this pre-interview conversation. I mean, what was that all about, man? I mean, so you're out there, and how many languages do you know?
Oh, okay. So I speak like Cantonese as my mother tongue native language. And then
Mhm.
like in Malaysia, I speak like in Malay, which is our Muslims language of Malaysia national language. English, obviously, and then like Mandarin and then Japanese. So I learned a little bit now of Portuguese as well because I was back from Europe. Like that was the next thing that I need to learn. So I think about 5, 6 languages. I'm trying to figure out.
Wow, polyglot.
Yeah, it's the kind of fun. Hopefully, I didn't become nincompoop as part of the discussion because I like mixed up some of the languages and they meant similar in other countries, and then they look at me like, "Oh, dude, that's a bad one that you speak."
Oh no.
Yeah,
That's
I
the
mean,
danger of knowing all those different languages, but not knowing the slang.
yeah, because I speak like one word in puta, which is a food in Malaysia, but in Portuguese it means something very bad. So
Hey,
that was.
can you do like welcome to our show and all the different languages?
I can say in my native ones, like, welcome to my show. Selamat datang ke rancangan Joel the Tennessee Foundation. 欢迎你们来听那个 Joel 的歌声。今天的 podcast TennesseeFoundation.com 啊。Yeah, so that's an English that I speak. I don't know how you like it, right?
I don't know. I don't know how I like it. I don't even know what you said. I believe that you
Yeah,
said
you can
welcome
use fun
to the.
translator and translate the accent. Yeah, it's pretty much there. I'm just saying welcome to your show. And you are a great host.
Oh man, you're the best. I love it. That was amazing.
Yeah, I got just like a lot.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So let me see. Let me look at your docs right here. So
Okay. Did I not tell you like what is the things that, because I was asking her like what kind of things that normally we discuss online. There's a lot of things I listen to your podcast they have. We have a lot of questions in between the stories and all that as well.
yeah. Oh, so you watched a few of them.
Yeah, two of them I listen to.
Yeah. Which two? Do you remember?
I think the latest ones with I think there's a two-part series that I listened to. There's
Oh,
a part
okay.
one and part two as well. I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but I definitely remember which the latest ones is Sarah Armstrong, if I remember correctly.
Ah, okay. All right, cool.
Yeah, yeah, she has like a mom's good guide to divorce, something like that. Because that's the one
Yes.
I was looking up for some stuff. My mom seems to have that experiences as well. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. That was one of those hairy subjects. I was like, okay. All right. So Anna said this is a great lady right here. So I believe Anna. I mean, if Anna tells me that the sea was on fire, I would believe it was on fire. I wouldn't even look out the window.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you have to like, yeah, Anna's an angel in your
She's an
eyes.
angel, right? So I just
Yeah,
don't
I wish
believe that she
she
would
could
tell
have just
me.
responded to say hi to us at least, rather than the chat. It's like, okay, I should have seen her face for a while. Introduce you, man. Yeah, it has to be, man. It's like kind of like strange without her having introduced you, and then you just pop up in and then give me a surprise a little bit. Okay. Yeah.
So let's get your bio in here. All right. All
Right,
right.
sure.
So we have an entrepreneur with working experience in B2B market research, digital marketing, and analytics experience, 3D in one, founder of Enrich Social Media, a market research and digital marketing agency. You have industry experience in oil and gas, SaaS, marketing, manufacturing, fellow of Young Southeast Asian Leadership Initiative, which is YSEALI. What is that?
YSEALI.
Alibaba? Tell me.
Yeah, it's pronounced as YSEALI. Y and then
YSEALI.
C. Yeah, SEE and then LE, like the C. There's like, yeah.
right, YSEALI,
Yeah.
Alibaba Netpreneuer, and a 10 by 1,000 Tech for Inclusion. You've helped in events such as Rise Tech Conference and Web Summit, a conference quoted by Politico as the world's premier tech conference. The Atlantic, that Web Summit is where the future goes to be born. And the New York Times, that we assemble a grand conclave of the tech industry high priest. And you're also working together with the Malaysia government agency MDEC for talent digital skills needs. I love this. Welcome to the show, Elton Kuah.
Yeah, thank you, Joel. And very nice.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Anna, where's all of the clapping? Throw the clapping in. Welcome to the show, Elton Kuah.
Yeah, Anna, you gotta learn to like participate.
There it is.
That's hilarious, man. Anna, you did the right thing, man. You bring up the mood at the right time.
This is so much fun. I'm enjoying you so much, man. So thank you for being on the show.
Yeah, pleasure. It's a very interesting that you have a show that talks about how to become like life challenges, how to overcome difficulties. So I read a little bit about it, and I was like, that's a show that would really, really be something that I'm keen to be part of, like give enlightenment to people to deal with life challenges.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So like we were talking about before, like in our pre-conversation, just with your speech that you had in New Delhi, tell us a little more about that, because I found that to be really interesting, the topic and everything.
Oh, okay. That's a great insight. So to put it like in a nutshell, obviously the topics of the HPAIR X that was meant to inspire people with stories. And I picked this particular stories called I'm Stupid, How People Label Me in My Life and How I Deal with It. Because that was actually like a part of where my life experiences come true. So just to give a perspective, like when I was a student, so this story started when I was in a class and somebody was a naughty guy pasted the label on my back says that you are stupid and nobody in the class seems to tell me about it. And then like obviously I become the laughing stock. So it's like a nincompoop kind of adventures. Like you're being made look stupid as well. So I think that when one of the teachers that I remember the teachers like aeons ago, like when she was teaching math class at that time, and she gave a very difficult math question. Like nobody seems to be answering it except for me, who is courageously enough to try to solve that. And I think fortunately I got the answers right at that point of time. So the teachers notices that there was a sticker at my back, and then she finally like tell me in quietly say that, dude, you got something sticky in my back. Do you know what is it? I said, I have no idea what was that thing is. And then she peel off and let me have a look. Okay. Then I realized why the whole class was giggling in between silence and all that, right? Yeah. So I have to slow down a little bit because I realized that I'm speaking to American audience, right? So I just to give that idea, like she was telling me that it seems you do not know that you have the paper your classmate sticks to it and says that, hey, this is something that you should be aware of as well, right? So that was when I was an innocent kid at that time. And I think she told 2 lessons in the class, which I didn't realize is important until I go later in the working life. So I'll tell that lessons, what is it, later on in a bit to the audience short while. But I think when I go into the working life much later, after I graduated from universities and all that, you know that in life there was a people who always constantly label you as stupid as well, because they don't say in front of you that you're stupid, but probably like they'll try to undermine you. So I was in a position where it doesn't get anywhere after my first job. Like people just put me down and says that you can't seems to do this, you can't seems to do that. Oh, you're not very good at this, because somebody else would be in politically correct and gets way ahead of me at the time. So I think you can relate what this history is about when it comes to that kid that have been sticker labels. People says that you're stupid, right? So that's where one part of the adventure comes in. And then when it comes to the second life later on, I started my own business because of what my principals believe in that story of that you are stupid as well. So to kill this, to ensure the suspense a little bit, I think back to the teachers where the story comes in. The teachers was actually say that in life there's a two principles. First, throughout your life, people will tell you nasty words or make fun of you to make sure that have you good on paper. So if you think about what happens in this context, right, would you be moving forward if you realize there's a paper that sticks to your back and says you're stupid? Would you be answering my question? So that was the thing that woke me up
Mm.
and comes back to the story at that point of time. So let me just give a little bit of lessons, what the teacher told me to the audience here, and I'll move on like how does it affect my adult life, because that's what I believe the context is about for the H barracks. So firstly, when somebody told me to have this label, she told me that please ignore the labels and just seize every opportunity you have to learn, grow, and improve yourself, because that's what people always do in their working life. And secondly, because of all the friends that sticks the labels on my back, the teacher was saying that, hey, do you consider them as your real friends, or do they have like a fair weather friends and so forth? Because nobody seems to care about you, to watch your back and tell you that you have this or on something that's on your mind, right? So you probably need to think this up in your journey towards entrepreneurship, right? So this is the second lesson that I learned. If you really think that your friends, who's someone doesn't that defend you, like doesn't watch your back and genuinely care about you, all this, probably that in the stage you really have to adventure it alone. But however, while you're alone, you are not never lonely. So imagine that was the things that she said, which I relate later in my life when I started my business. And that also I shared in my H barracks. That was the exact situation that I was in. Like nobody seems to be supportive. Even my parents was like half hesitant. Like, will this guy actually make it later in his life? Yeah, and I get this is the story that resonates a lot with you, right? So when you learn some of this whole stuff and being in like more than 30 years, like when I heard this story now, so my age is kind of like not yet 50s, but it's been 30 years since I heard this once. Yeah, life will hit you in a kind of direction that you see it. And if you think that people will get you discouraged and motivations, and you think that people will label you in unfairly, so how you move forward about it is something that really you'll be think about and who will support you in your journey. So that's kind of brief, like why this HBRX stories of mine, how people label me, was so resonant from the day when I was in studying a school who doesn't have idea of working world, and then how the story relates when it comes to adult life, food, and also like starting your own business in the journey of entrepreneurship as well. So that was a difficulty that I have, right? If I compress the whole details of those experiences in kind of like less than 7 minutes presentation. I don't know if you guys consider it as challenges, but I find it very enlightening actually, because the audience really feel it that way as well. When they study in school, they like either they choose to follow the rules or they just get their ass kicked. When in life, you have to do something different.
Wow. So there's a lot, I guess, to unpack in that. I mean, there's 30 years of experience in these lessons. But here's the crucial part of it. And I just feel like this would be really important, especially for young people as well as adults. I mean, it is what it is. But if there were some young people that were listening, so like these lessons that you learned at 16, 17, 18 or whatnot, these two very important lessons shaped your entire world for the next 30 years. And
Yeah.
I think that that's impactful, because sometimes as a youth you think that everything is concrete, that this is the end. If I don't do X, then Y will never appear. If I don't do A, then I'll never get to B, and that's the end of it. And as you get older, you realize you don't even have to go A, B, C. You can go like A, D, M. You know what I mean? You can kind of skip around and make your own alphabet of life, because you realize when you get older that life is more like alphabet soup, and it is what you find, not so much the programmed. the program reality, but it's what you find in life and how you utilize what you find. So those lessons can actually be something really, really beneficial to you. What was it as you were that youth that caused you to remember, these particular lessons? And what did you feel like when you recognized that you had this shirt on your this paper on your back that said that you were stupid? I mean, obviously you weren't stupid, but that's what the paper said. What were your feelings, and what made you want to remember those statements?
I think it's a very kind of interesting point that you bring up as well. Like when I look at a paper right now, so imagine I have that paper when I was doing that presentation. I just put the papers aside, I shred it to get rid of the memory. So I think it's more like a association of like negative. How do I see the reactions of myself? So in my youth, I used to be very angry and like kind of upset when somebody labeled me stupid because it was being unfair. So that was, I think, when I was a youth at that time, look at it like, hey, this is not the world it's supposed to be, right? It's supposed to be just, and it's supposed to be right in, like you say, it's alphabetical soup. But when I grow, like right now, as more wiser, not so old, I still like to keep myself young. Yeah, so I tend to believe like, hey, this is not so bad. If people talk to me stupid, right? So probably they have their own reasons why they think like that. So I think I'll just do like kind of appreciative inquiry technique, a leadership, and discover like why would he lead this conclusion that why he's telling me it's a stupid. Does it come from his personal experience? Is there something that affects his judgment, or the things that I do, like some kind of what I encountered in my youth earlier? There's a reactive reactions towards this action. So I think in life, like we can't control everything that happens around us. So take it like if I'm doing COVID right now, like we have already passed through a pandemic, right? So maybe there are things that are out of your control. So how you react to those things actually a lot matters, rather than you think like, why these things keep happening to me, or why am I so stupid, blah blah blah, and why can't I do this? So in the times of like this, you need to like think how will you go around it, and who can help you to support your journeys to go around. So that is the kind of like the way the things going on. So that's how my thinking changed, especially in the leadership programs that I went through. So the way how they explain this principle is something that I was doing, like called altruism, like meaning how would be doing this at the cost of my spouse, but at the benefit of society. So I found out that if you're doing a lot of goodwills, givers gain, so somehow the universe will reward you something back as well in return. So think of it as like, we're putting a seed for the future. Just like if I give a podcast when I was in 50s, I'll probably save myself to the 40s, right? If I don't start a journey right now, yeah, probably people remember what you did in your whole lifetime. And yeah, that's a memory I hope I give to have. So yeah, just to put a context to this one.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So I mean, and that's really good to know. I thank you for sharing that, because I always say this: is people, they see you now, they see the now, but they don't know the how. They don't know what you went through in order to become who you are today. And so I look at you today, and I look at that speech that you had in August of 2022, and it's like, you're a very happy person. You're obviously an extremely smart individual. You speak so well. 5+ languages and little bits and pieces of multiple more languages. And so, and your history is working with some really, really big organizations as well as countries, and that type of stuff. So there's nothing stupid about you at all. But
I'm courageously stupid. Yeah,
and you
it's
still
true.
make jokes. You're so humble. You're what I call high. You're honest, integrity filled, genuine and humble. That's what I call when people are at this high level in life. It's when they hit those 4 different categories, and I see that all in you. But I'm grateful that you shared this, because you're like, well, listen, I was angry and I was upset as a youth. And the first thing that I think in my mind is like, well, what young person is not angry and upset? There's so many that are just like frustrated at life, especially in the teenage years, because everything is different. You know, hormones are going and they want to get money. They want to leave out of their house. They're disappointed with something. You know, school is a wrecking ball. There's people that are bullying them, and now there's cyberbullying. So you can't even escape to your cell phone because the bullies will find you on the cell phone and destroy you in front of not just 100 people, but now they destroy you in front of 10,000 people that aren't even in your school. So, you know, and it's like, there's a lot of people that are angry, frustrated, depressed, and, you know, the suicide rate is, you know, especially with young people, and the devastation of especially in the United States, of gun violence amongst young people is risen. And it's just like all of these crazy things. And here you go. Here's somebody who was bullied, angry, upset, you know, and you made a positive turn.
Next episode on It Starts With Me.
Just mentioned, like, you know, you can't just visualize, says, oh, I want to be okay, things are going to be better. I think a lot of youths are a lot smarter, like, you know, hey, I can just believe what you said, bro. Yeah, chap, and you just ignore what I've said. Yeah, so that's, I think you need to follow up with some concrete actions along.
Yes.
Things happen.
I love that. So I have a thought, a process that I work in, and it's called PAM management. And basically it means, you know, project, act, manifest, you know, but in order to get there, you have to think, say, and then do. So you think about the things that you should be doing well, and then you should start speaking that out into your life, and then you actually start to practice it. And in some cases you have to think, unthink, and then you rethink, you know, so.
It's kind of very interesting management philosophy, yeah. Think, think, and rethink.
Yes. I feel like you resonate with this.
Yeah. Well, that's an interesting one. So I learned something from your school. Can use it for the 2023.